It was supposed to be a year to rebuild, revamp, and prepare for next season, but instead, the Boston Celtics showed us once again why they are one of the best-run organizations in the NBA. Despite trading away Kristaps Porzingis and Drew Holiday in the offseason and just looking to build for the future, the Celtics are now the second-best team in the East and are the favorites, I believe, to come out of the East for the finals. With Jayson Tatum now coming back and Jaylen Brown playing at a borderline MVP level, the Celtics look like a team that not many can stop. Peyton Pritchard, obviously a great role player off the bench. There is a lot to love about the Celtics team, but how far can they exactly go? Especially given the matchups they're going to confront in the East with certain teams rising and looking even better than they have all season. Corby, what do you believe we need to look out most for in terms of the Celtics in the playoffs?
I mean, really just the top two guys. Like, I understand that there were the narratives in previous years that they didn't fit very well, but man, ever since Tatum's come back, I think when both play together in a game, they are 8-2 this season, which is incredible. Even though counting stats wise, Tatum is still ramping up. I think he'll be fine though. Come playoff time, I think right now we're 2 weeks out before the playoffs, and then even then, we'll have to play in tournament after that. I can't wait. This team, I mean, we just saw them win, 2 years ago, and obviously, like technically, talent wise, they were better. Their rotation, at least my projected rotation for them in the playoffs this year, is going to be Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Sam Hauser, Tatum, and then Kata at the 5. And then their bench players, Peyton Pritchard, Baylor Shireman, Vucevic, and then Hugo Gonzalez. So talent-wise, it doesn't scream out to you, but the way that Missoula has them playing is just ridiculous. I mean, the defense they're playing, we haven't seen much of Vucevic, but like every other player has been good defensively. Even like a Pritchard, he definitely shows effort when he can. It's just like when you look at the other teams in the East, which we'll talk about later, talent-wise, when it comes to a top two, like no one comes close. I did not think Jaylen Brown had this type of game in his arsenal. I didn't think he could ever do this. He could ever be an MVP candidate. And while I believe he's not truly an MVP candidate, like he's not top 3 or anything, a lot of people do, and it's for good reason. 29 points per game while guarding the other team's best player on some nights, and some nights it is Derek White. The fact that they've been winning so much with Derek White not even shooting good from the floor, and I think he'll shoot even better with Tatum being back and him getting more open shots, because they do have so many creators. They either have creators or shooters. That's the entirety of their team. They either have a guy like Peyton Pritchard who can create, or Sam Hauser who can shoot, or Baylor Shireman who can shoot, or Jayson Tatum who can create. And it's like, offensively, defensively, this team's pretty insane. So far this season, they've been beating up on some tanking teams. I don't know what the record is below 500, but above 500, they are 28-20. But then teams above 600, they're 9-13. Teams above 700, they are 2-6. Now, Tatum has been out, and Tatum's a big piece. I really do think Tatum is the best player on the team, even with Jaylen Brown playing like this. So it'll be interesting to see that their dynamic. I mean, while he's come back, Jayson Tatum has kind of taken a little bit of a backseat to Jaylen Brown, and I wonder if it will stay the same in the playoffs. Do I think it should? I don't think so. I really do think that the offense is best when played through Tatum, even with Jaylen Brown playing this good. But I still think both can kind of coincide with each other. It's gonna be really interesting.
I agree. I think one of the biggest questions that I personally have about this Celtics team is what their big rotation is going to look like. Obviously, Kata has been a very solid big for them during the regular season, but that can change a little bit in the playoffs. And you have to imagine Vucevic is going to be their starter if he's healthy for the first round of the playoffs. And
Wait, Vucevic is going to start on the team?
do you not think he will?
No.
I mean, I could see a world where he doesn't, for sure, but I personally think that they traded for Vucevic. They traded Simons for him. They obviously see him as more than just a straight line backup center. I think they do want to.
I mean, they traded a 6th man for a 6th man. I don't think that's so crazy.
I don't think that's crazy, I guess.
And I wouldn't even call him a 6th man. But it's still obviously be Peyton Pritchard, so for a 7th man. And you can say that, like, why would you do that? But Simons didn't fit this team because, like I said, they already have so many creators. They have Pritchard, they have Tatum, they have Brown, they have even a guy like Hugo Gonzalez can make a pass. Even, like Derek White can create a shot for sure. I just think they needed other guys, and they needed other bigs, because the only other big right now is like Luka Garza, and you don't want to rely on Luka Garza. Actually, we talked about this before the season started, and I understand they got wins with both together, but having Simons and Peyton Pritchard together, super redundant.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, we didn't even know really like which player would be better, which one would start, which one wouldn't. And I think they easily made the right decision.
Yeah.
I mean, Kata's been amazing.
He's been really good.
Defensively, just being a lob threat, making the open pass. He's rebounding wise, he's insane as well. I don't really think there's too many things Vucevic can do better than Kata outside of shooting the 3.
No, now that you bring up Garza too, I do realize that Vucevic and Garza play kind of a similar type of role. So I guess I can definitely see why they would just fit him into that role as a better player. Now there is obviously a lot to say about the Celtics team, as there is about a lot of these contending teams, but we do know the Celtics team pretty well. We've seen Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum win a ring together before, and I think what is going to be a lot more fun is to compare them to how they're going to match up against some of these newcomers in the East that this year have been surging. That every team 10 seed or above at the time of recording this has 40 wins, which is pretty impressive.
This might be the toughest play in the Eastern Conference ever.
Yeah, no, ever, I think. Because there's always the 9, 10, even sometimes the 8 seed that's like borderline not even a playoff team.
Yeah, so we can start with the 10 seed. I believe it is it's Miami Heat right now.
It is the Miami Heat right now.
Interesting. So versus the Heat, the Boston Celtics this season are 4-0. They haven't lost. I think they actually just played the Miami Heat and won by like 30. Actually, that was yesterday. Yeah. I think this is pretty easily. Honestly, I'll give the Heat one game because it's Eric Spoelstra. I mean, he's an amazing coach. I understand Mazzulla is too, but Spoelstra's going to outcoach him for one game, and the Celtics will go cold for one game. And I'll take the Celtics in 5, respectfully.
Mm-hmm.
The Miami Heat, they have Tyler Hero. They have a couple of good pieces, but this Celtics team, anything the Miami Heat do good, the Celtics do better.
83 did Bam score. I'm a college student, so I'm poor. They have a first-round exit floor. Give me this. Give me the Celtics in 5.
Who is the first round floor?
The Heat.
Oh, okay.
I guess their floor would be.
They have a first round ceiling.
It'd be yeah, they have a first round.
That's the farthest they'll go.
Hey, sometimes when you're trying to rhyme stuff, you just gotta say stuff.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
Next team, Orlando Magic. The Celtics are 2-1 versus the Magic, and I think talent-wise, they definitely match up better versus the Celtics. I mean, it's Franz and Paulo versus Jaylen Brown, Jayson Tatum. But at the end of the day, this Magic team is not very good.
Give me Celtics in 4.
You think they sweep?
I think the only reason the Heat pick up a game is because of the coaching advantage. I don't think this Magic team is any better than this Heat team, and so I have no reason to believe that the Magic are even going to get a game.
Interesting. So we're going to heavily disagree because while I was just saying that, because it's funny how I will say things sometimes and I'll think about it for even just one more second and be like, you know what? This Magic team is really bad when they have a couple of injuries. Like really bad, like unexcusably bad, and it's all coaching. Mm-hmm. But when this team is fully healthy,
they lose by 30 to the Hawks.
They were not fully healthy.
They
didn't have Anthony Black, who has been like actually their second best player this season.
Corey, we don't know what the Magic look like healthy. We have no idea what they look like healthy.
I feel like I guess technically they haven't been healthy at one point, but I think Anthony Black's been their second best player all year.
I mean, so what? They're going to get continuity.
And talent-wise, they're just going to do it.
Season.
I just think they actually do match up really. Obviously, Tatum's better than any Paulo, and Jaylen Brown's better than any Franz, and they have all the pieces, but I do think they match up so well. I think I'm going to give the Magic 2 games. I think like this is just a team that,
wow.
I mean, I think the last 2 years they forced a game 7, right? Oh no, what happened last year with the Magic in the playoffs?
Last year I believe they got beat in 5 by the Celtics.
No, you're right. Yeah, Celtics beat them in 5. so it's just they have Desmond Bane now. They have Anthony Black taking this jump. Jalen Suggs is that good. Tristan DeSilva has been great. As a team, they have sucked, and you know what? You have every reason to believe that Celtics sweep them. I just think that for some reason the Magic win 2 games. But I don't want to argue too much about a 2-game difference. Either way, there's no shot that the Celtics lose to the Orlando Magic in the first round.
All right, we'll just move on now. A more interesting matchup, in my opinion, the Charlotte Hornets against the Boston Celtics. The Charlotte Hornets have been the best offense in the NBA, rating-wise, over the last at least 20 games, if not 30 games, which is extremely impressive. So this is a high-flying, high-powered offense that can compete with anybody. We just saw them beat the Knicks about a week ago. I think this is a series that is going to really test the three-point shooting identity of the Celtics, because I think this is a team that can make more threes than them, and I think it's going to test how much they're going to stick to that if it's inconsistent. That being said, I'll take Celtics in 6 in this series. I still think they win. I think it's a closer series than either of the previous 2. I think with the way the Hornets offense is going, they can definitely take advantage of a bad shooting night from the Celtics. It's just going to be an offensive series, and the Celtics are going to have to figure out the way to best play offense. But Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown, they have the 2 best players in the series by far. So
no, they do, and that's why I am going to pick the Celtics in 6. However, I will say they are actually, in my opinion, a more balanced team than the Celtics. In terms of like that starting 5 is so good. I mean, you talk about a Diabate being pretty similar to Ikeda. You talk about Kobe White being similar to Peyton Pritchard. You talk about, I mean, a guy like I don't know. Like they do have such a solid 1 through 4, and I like the Celtics guys and like Baylor Shireman and Sam Hauser, but I actually don't think either of them really compete with like a Con Knuckle, and it's just not as balanced.
No.
I just honestly like I actually think because the Hornets have been like the third best team in the NBA net rating wise since the new year, so large sample size, like pretty much the second half of the NBA season. So I do think that will make it competitive. However, it's a LaMelo Ball. He's never been in a playoff series. Brandon Miller never has. Colin Canupo never has. Miles Bridges never has. It's, I mean, the Celtics experience alone is going to kill him. And then, like, I understand that defensively, the Hornets actually have been good since the new year, but Tatum should be able to get whatever shot he wants. If a guy like Miles Bridges is guarding,
there should be no reason he can't get to whatever
Jaylen
he
Brown
wants.
with Colin Canupo. Colin Canupo, you're a fine defender, but against Jaylen Brown, not really.
Yeah. So moving on then, we're going to go to the 7th seed in the East, and that's the Toronto Raptors. Surprisingly, the 7th seed now that they've lost a couple games recently and dropped down below the Sixers even. But the Raptors, good team. They're a solid team. And what they have that really will give the Celtics trouble, I feel like, is their length and their perimeter guys. I think they have good personnel, kind of like how you were saying about the Magic, to guard the Celtics guys. They match up well with them. You can put Scotty Barnes on Jayson Tatum, most likely, is who I would think. You can put RJ Barrett on Jaylen Brown. You can have, Brandon Ingram's not this great defender, right? But he can get in passing lanes. I mean, he's got those super long arms for a reason. I think the Raptors match up well with them defensively. Offensively, that is my biggest concern for the Raptors in the playoffs is do they have a guy that can actually go get a bucket in an isolation scenario other than Brandon Ingram, because we know he can do it. And I don't know. I kind of want to hear your thoughts on this. I'm definitely picking the Celtics. It's just a matter of in how many games.
I'll pick Celtics in 5. I really do want to believe in a Brandon Ingram finally outplaying Jayson Tatum, the old Celtics versus Lakers rivalry that turned into now he's on the Raptors. But I don't see like just scoring wise, like, a Tatum's going to outscore a Brandon Ingram. Jaylen Brown's going to outscore a Scotty Barnes. A Derek White is probably going to outscore an RJ Barrett. Or no, a Peyton Pritchard's going to outscore an RJ Barrett. A Derek White's going to outscore whoever the fourth guy is on the Raptors, whether it's Quickly, whether it's Jakob Poeltl. I mean, the other guys on the Raptors don't score very much in Jamal Shed, Colin Murray Boyles. I just think there's just so much offensive firepower that even though the Raptors are pretty good defensively, it just I don't know how they compete. At the end of the day, basketball is a shootout. Who can score more points? And I don't see a way that the Raptors score more points than the Celtics. And that is kind of making me realize that maybe I should have picked I think I'll pick Celtics in 5 over the Magic.
Okay.
Because I am kind of just realizing that. Like, scoring the ball is important in basketball. And I just don't see the Magic outscoring the Celtics more than twice. Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, it's a good point. I'll also go Celtics in 5. I think this will be a very educational series for the Raptors in terms of seeing what they need moving forward, because I do definitely think they need another guy. So it's going to be, okay, do we need a point guard? Do we need a playmaker? Do we need a scorer? Do we need a better center? Raptors, young, new head coach, essentially. I mean, second-year head coach, I guess. They got a lot of time. They'll be good eventually, but not this series.
Now let's get to a real basketball team, finally. The Atlanta Hawks.
Ooh, why are you going with the Hawks?
Oh, the Hawks are the 5 seed.
The Hawks are the 5 seed.
Okay, we'll wait on the Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah.
But we also go to a real team in the Sixers. Not that the Sixers are that much better than a Raptors or any of these other teams, but the Sixers actually have the talent level to compete. You also have, the history of 76ers versus Celtics in the playoffs. I think all the time the Celtics win that matchup, except one year where I believe Jaylen Brown was hurt and the Sixers beat him in 5. I could be wrong. I'm going to pick the Celtics, but I will say, okay, listen, I'm going to pick the Celtics. And it's because I don't believe in Joel Embiid, but realistically, not to piss off any Celtics fan, the Sixers, talent-wise, should win this game. No one should, whoever, no one should be able to guard Joel Embiid. Way more than no one should be able to guard Jayson Tatum, or no one should be able to guard Jaylen Brown. Embiid should get whatever he wants. Tyrese Maxey has been elite offensively this year, and he should keep that up. I'm just trying to even think of like matchup-wise. I guess Derek White does match up really well against Maxey. Being an elite perimeter defender, I think he's the type of guy who just can frustrate Maxey. I do think actually depth-wise, the Celtics win it by far. Like I said, I don't trust rookies in the playoffs. So I'm going to, BJ Edgecombe just won't be that valuable to me. Just like, I think I had Hugo Gonzalez as the 10th man. I could easily see it being like a Jordan Walsh. Or the 9th man. I could see it being a Jordan Walsh or just any of the other guys on the Celtics. I'm going to pick the Celtics. I'm going to do it in 6. No, in 5. because I don't believe in in a Joel Embiid. I do believe Jayson Tatum, like always, will, whether it takes a game 5, game 6, 50-point performance like it did a couple years ago in the playoffs, it will happen. The Celtics beating the Sixers in the playoffs is inevitable. Matchup wise, it's great. It's just how much can you trust Joel Embiid in the playoffs, and how much can you trust Paul George in the playoffs? I hate to be the one to say it, but I always will. These are two guys you can't rely on. You can't rely on a Kelly Oubre. You never have been able to, and you can't rely on a VJ Edgecombe, a rookie.
Yeah,
Celtics in 5.
Joel Embiid has never beat the Celtics in the playoffs.
Oh, really?
The Celtics won in 2018, 2020, and 2023.
Oh, it was the Nets that beat the Celtics in the playoffs when Jaylen Brown got hurt. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think you're right in that if you don't believe in Joel Embiid, you don't believe in the Sixers to win this series. If you do believe in Joel Embiid, there should be no reason he doesn't dominate the series, because the Celtics, as good as Keita has been, shouldn't have the personnel to match up with him. Vucevic, Garza, Keita, none of them should be able to hang with Embiid.
Yeah. At least a Paul George can slow down Tatum. Maybe.
And I'm
If he's
glad.
on steroids.
Oh, man. As much as I'm going to be honest, I really want to see the Sixers team win this series. I really think that with the way Paul George has played, even since coming back from his suspension, with the way that Maxey has played all year, with the way Embiid is starting to look again, it really just is the fact that VJ Edgecombe is a rookie. I don't really trust VJ Edgecombe, Kelly Oubre, Quentin Grimes as much, even though, I think in a previous video I did include him in the group of guys that had playoff experience. I kind of really don't trust him in that scenario. So I'm gonna go Celtics in 7. I think this is a really close playoff series, and I think I want to give Embiid the benefit of the doubt because he's looked fairly healthy this season, aside from missing a stretch of games, and he has played pretty consistently. And Tyrese Maxey is certainly the best player on that team now, and that is pretty definitive, and I have confidence he'll show up. Paul George, if there is a series for you to really do something for your legacy, this is it. If Paul George could show up and help the Sixers beat the Celtics, that'd be pretty huge for him. But overall, the Celtics are probably better coached. They have more continuity with their roster, and I'd have a hard time saying they don't have the, 2 of the top 3 guys in this series, and Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So,
all right. 5 seed, Atlanta Hawks.
Atlanta Hawks.
I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I am a Hawks fan. I would pick the Celtics to win this series. I don't think the Hawks match up very well. I think the Hawks match up very well against teams who have like elite perimeter guys that like Dyson can slow down and Nikhil can slow down. And I don't believe in our forwards playing defense. Like, even though we've seen it in stretches, I don't believe in Jalen Johnson consistently playing defense, or Kuminga, or even Risa Shea, like maybe a little bit. And especially because I think all 3 of them, well, especially Kuminga and Risa Shea, but even a little bit Jalen Johnson, just undisciplined. I don't think Jayson Tatum's a foul baiter or Jaylen Brown, but they definitely know how to draw a couple fouls. And I think just the youth of Kuminga and the lack of, I understand he's been technically in the playoffs, but like Kuminga doesn't have that much actual playoff experience outside of last year was the last time the only time he's had like a big role.
Right, and he played great. It's a similar problem to the Toronto Raptors where they're just young. There's just not many guys with actual playoff experience on this team. Jalen Johnson, none. Nikhil Alexander-Walker has some, but never in a role that he's been in this year. CJ McCollum is the adult in the room. He has the most playoff experience. Yeah. He could keep them steady. I agree. I just don't think it's a great matchup for the Hawks. That being said, it's also not a great matchup for the Celtics either. And that's kind of weird, but it puts both teams in an uncomfortable position where the Hawks play this sort of like style of team basketball that makes it difficult for the Celtics to utilize their one-on-one defenders like Jaylen Brown and Derek White. Whereas the Celtics have this level of like one-on-one basketball that they're able to play isolation with Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum that the Hawks aren't exactly well prepared to deal with because they don't have these elite wing defenders, right?
Yeah.
So I want to say I'll just Celtics in 6.
I'll say Celtics in 6. I think we forced them to 6. I think the Celtics had a better team 2 years ago, and the Hawks had,
2 years ago,
a worse team.
Porzingis and Holiday and
the Celtics won that series in 6. I still think it's 6 though. I think it's gonna be a good playoff experience for Jalen Johnson being a number 1 and everyone else. But like, yeah, no, the Celtics will win it. And then I love Snyder. He'll get out coached as well. Like it kind of is just a little bit of everything. Yeah. 2 teams kind of led by Well, a forward and a big, or a guard. I don't know. But yeah, Celtics in 6.
Yeah.
So now we get to the true contenders. All these teams have above 60% win percentage. And I'd say these are the teams that actually have contending pressure. 4 seed, Cleveland Cavaliers. Them versus the Boston Celtics. It's so interesting because it's two complete opposite teams.
Mm-hmm.
We have one team with 2 perimeter guys, like elite perimeter offensive guys, and then 2 defensive elite bigs. Almost like no forward depth, unless you want to like really rely on like a Jaylen Tyson. And then obviously the Celtics are dominated by their wings, and then a Derek White. They're a smaller team. They're not as tall as the Cleveland Cavaliers.
How much do you believe in Evan Mobley?
I think Evan Mobley's impact will be huge defensively in the series. And I guess you could say that you want Evan Mobley to really hammer the offense if they're going to win this series. I think matchup wise, this is I'm not to spoil anything. This is the one team I think the Celtics don't want to see. I really do. I do think that when you have James Harden and Donovan Mitchell on the court, by the way, the Celtics are 3-0 versus the Cavs this season. I think Donovan Mitchell and James Harden, whoever's not being guarded by Derek White, he's just gonna cook. I mean, you have Jared Allen is big. You have Evan Mobley, who should be able to punish even someone like Jayson Tatum inside, who Jayson Tatum's 6'10".
Mm-hmm.
But even that, I think Mobley just has that defensive presence. He's like 6'11", 7 foot. I could just see a world where Donovan Mitchell outplays one of Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And it really is, you know who the big X factor is? You can say it's Mobley, but I think the Cavs could get a cool little 16, 17, 18, and then 9 boards from Mobley, and they still win the series. It's James Harden. Mm-hmm. That's always been the X factor. And maybe I'm wrong because I don't even want to say I believe in James Harden, but it really is small ball versus tall ball. That's what this is. Besides, obviously, the 2 guards in Boston. Here's the thing about the Celtics, though. They're not that tall when it comes to like their forwards. As in, I'm personally someone who I don't believe in 2 defensive liability backcourt creators in like a Mitchell and a James Harden. But the Celtics always have a guy like Sam Hauser. They always have a guy like Baylor Shireman. They always have a guy like, am I blanking on someone? But they always have similar guys like that where you can kind of hide James Harden. Mm-hmm. And then Donovan Mitchell, I feel like when he does lock in, he is a decent defender at least. He's not.
And you also have Dennis Schroeder off the bench that you can plug and play when you need him.
Yeah,
who is a good defender, right?
You have him. You have a Max Strus. I think this is the one matchup personally that I wouldn't want to see if I'm the Celtics, just because of how large they are. But then when they are small, Donovan Mitchell and James Harden, how good offensively they are. So even though I don't have I actually do think the Celtics might be the best team in the East. I think this is the one matchup they don't want to see.
I probably would have been on the same page as you until I really sat down and watched that Cavs-Lakers game. And I watched how the Cavs play on offense when James Harden has the ball. Now, James Harden has been accused of being an offensive black hole in his career, and that probably has been the case at times. But the lack of creation when James Harden is dribbling the ball is not his fault, because that team just does not move off the ball very well. There is no thought process to cut and get to the basket or create, they didn't make that was one of the things I said in our Lakers video. They weren't making the Lakers think very much in that game, right? The Lakers could pretty much just play one-on-one defense and not have to do too much, right? And the Cavs have good shooters, but I want to see a Keon Ellis cut to the basket. I want to see Evan Mobley cut to the basket, right? Evan Mobley sometimes just sits in the corner on offense, which seems like such a waste of his skill set. So I want to believe that the Cavs can capitalize off of the advantages that the Celtics personnel is going to give them. But I just don't. I just haven't seen it. I believe Donovan Mitchell will be good. And I actually think that, like you said, whoever's not being guarded by Derek White, James Harden, or Donovan Mitchell is going to be good given the game. But I don't have a ton of faith in the Cavs to play good as a team. And
do you think they're still not, they're not coached well?
They just look stagnant a lot of the time. I don't believe that they're coached well on offense. And I don't know if that's I hesitate to say coached well, because I don't know if that's the players not doing what they're supposed to do or the coach not telling the players what they need to do. But either way, when I watch their offense, it looks really good when they're able to kick out to shooters and the shooters are able to hit their shots. But there's not much else that their offense consists of other than like a Jared Allen pick and roll and then Jared Allen either hitting a shot or hitting Mobley, right? Which it looks good when it can work. But
I just think that the Cavs are a good defense, and I think they are a good offense. I don't know. It's it's just Donovan. Like, I don't want to like kind of just oversimplify it. Talent wise, if you just look at pure talent, the Cavs have more talent. And I'm an optimist about talent. I think that Jarrett Allen and Mobley should eat in the series.
They should. Do you think?
Because as much as I'm saying Evan Mobley should be a guy who averages 18 a game, Jarrett Allen should get his own 18.
Where do you rank the players in this series out of curiosity? Like, you're saying you think the Cavs have more talent, so I'm curious kind of how you would rank, let's say, the top 7 guys in this series, right?
Okay, I think the Celtics players are actually pretty high. I think I'd go Tatum. I understand how good Jaylen Brown's playing, but just in general, Tatum 1, Brown 2, Mitchell 3. I think I'd go Harden 4, Derek White 5, Jarrett Allen 6th, Mobley 7th.
Okay.
So I guess it's only like, but it is only like a 4-3. It's just when you get to these playoff series and it goes down to an 8-man rotation.
It's a 4-3, and
but I just think it's just play style wise. Like I don't really see a way. Like I don't, as much as we Keita is good and Vucevic can have his moments. I don't see how either of them or Luka Garza or anyone on the Celtics hold a Jarrett Allen. Jarrett Allen is that good, and it's not like relying on Embiid because the rest of the Cavs are also that good.
Jarrett Allen can be that good. But
I think he's been that good with James Harden.
He has. No, he's been really good with James Harden. He's also been really bad in the playoffs at times. So it's like, what is the more convincing sample size? Is it his time with James Harden, or is it his time in the playoffs?
I think Jarrett Allen plays better with Mobley, and Mobley's been hurt a lot of these playoff series. Like they've been losing.
That is true.
I think the Cavs, it's not like that they should have been a championship team in the past, but they are better than how they've been losing because they've been injured every year. Whether it's Garland, whether it's Mobley, or whether it's both. I think Jarrett Allen and Donovan Mitchell have been the only two consistents in the last couple of years for the Cavs.
Yeah.
So maybe I should be predicting that they get hurt. I'm taking Cavs in 7. I think most likely this will be the only team I have beating the Celtics, and it's just matchup wise. I think the Celtics are a better team. It's just I don't see either of these perimeter guards being slowed down, especially because like their second best perimeter defender, in my opinion, even more than like a Jaylen Brown, is like a Hugo Gonzalez. But how much time will he really get in the playoffs as a rookie? I don't know.
That's fair. I'm gonna take Celtics in 6 in this series. I just think that the Cavs have not shown that they have the ability to capitalize offensively on defensive mistakes, and that the Celtics overall just have the 2 most talented guys in the series.
Yeah. Okay. 3 seed New York Knicks. I'm picking the Celtics. I'm probably gonna do either 5 or 6. Sometimes I watch this Knicks team and I am just very pissed off. I think technically wise, this might be an emotional pick, or I just think the Celtics are better because they have all the guys to guard. They have an OG Anunoby to guard Tatum. They have a Mikal Bridges to guard, or a Josh Hart to guard a Jaylen Brown. They have. It's just I don't like the Brunson and Cat thing. I'm going to be super low on the Knicks.
No, that's fair.
Probably for any team.
Yeah.
And I think that Keita in the pick and roll. I think that anyone who's being guarded by Jalen Brunson, like he's so small that you could put Sam Hauser on him. He'd probably, score a layup on him.
Yeah.
And then you combine that with Cat's lack of rim protection and his inability to, I mean, if we're being honest, Kata's a couple inches shorter, and I guess he is like kind of quick for a big, but Cat should eat against Kata. I just don't believe that will be the case. And then when it comes to bench talent, the Celtics win by far with Vucevic and Peyton Pritchard.
No, that's
over
fair.
like, you don't even know if Mitchell Robinson could stay on the court with his lack of free throw shooting.
Yeah.
You can just intentionally foul him. And then McBride, we've like barely seen anything of. I think he might have even just got hurt again. And then like what? Jose Alvarado in the playoffs, we've only seen once before. Jordan Clarkson in the playoffs. We haven't seen too many good things from that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think experience alone, coaching as well. Not that Mike Brown's this terrible coach, but Celtics have the coaching advantage.
Yeah. No, they do. And I mean, we talked about this at length before. So I'll give you guys my quick rundown. We talked about this in our Knicks video. But basically, I believe that Karl Anthony Towns will eat in the series. I predicted he'll average 25 points per game. And I think this exact same almost Knicks team took this exact same Celtics team almost. I would argue an even better Celtics team and beat them 2 games at home. And then you can say what you will about Jayson Tatum getting hurt, but the Knicks were probably going to win that game anyway. And it was either to go up 3-0 or 3-1, one of the two. And the Knicks this year have been the second best team. I believe, yeah, that's their home record. Second best team at home in the Eastern Conference this year. So I have faith that they'll win their home games, and they've shown they can win in Boston with this group of guys. So I'm going to take Knicks in 7 in this series. I just think the overall offensive firepower of the Knicks, combined with the fact that they do have guys like OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges to guard Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum, will give them enough of an advantage in this series to win.
Okay, yeah, we've already talked about it, but yeah, I'll definitely take Celtics.
Yeah.
And then they are the 2 seeds. So number 1, last matchup, it is the Detroit Pistons. And you're assuming that by the time they match up against each other, because the Celtics are pretty much the 2 seed, Pistons pretty much 1, it would be in the conference finals where Cade Cunningham is hopefully back. Yeah, I'll pick the Celtics. I mean, just pure experience. I mean, the Celtics have done it before, and a lot of these guys on the Pistons haven't even made the second round. And obviously, that doesn't really stop teams. Like, I mean, the Indiana Pacers, Tyrese Halliburton never even made the conference finals or semi-conference finals, and he made the NBA finals. So sometimes that's bad logic, but I mean, it's Jayson Tatum, it's Jaylen Brown. Cade Cunningham is someone who could hopefully play better in this year's playoffs. He was doing a lot last year in the playoffs versus the Knicks when they lost in 6 games, but like he was not efficient at all. Cade Cunningham would need to be efficient, and I think it's going to be hard for him to do that with Jaylen Brown guarding him. Jaylen Brown might even kind of take it personally. Those were the 2 guys that were like, all NBA first team, or one of them kind of had to be snubbed before the Cade injury. I do think someone like Duren kind of should eat, but I just don't like an Asar Thompson in the playoffs with his lack of spacing, or like a Ron Holland. I think they're not built for the playoffs because they're not a half court team. They're a full court, fast break kind of team, elite defense. And I just believe in Jayson Tatum to break this defense down.
I'm going to take the Pistons here in this series. I think overall watching them without Cade Cunningham has actually made me even more of a believer in them because their defense is still just that good. I mean, they took the Thunder to overtime the other day. And yes, the Thunder were missing Jalen Williams, but the Pistons really didn't have anybody. I don't think they had Duren. They didn't have Cade. They didn't have Duncan Robinson. They didn't have Tobias Harris. And they still, took the Thunder to overtime and played a really good game against them. I think their defense is absolutely incredible. And I understand your point about the spacing or not being built for the playoffs, but they do have Kevin Huerter. They do have Duncan Robinson. They do have Tobias Harris. They do have guys that can shoot threes and be the type of guy that can hit a, swinging around the horn type of 3, not just take their own shot off the dribble. They can work off of Cade's driving. And I think Duren as a post player should have a pretty easy time eating in this series. I mean, he's not going to be relying on a jump shot, so there shouldn't be a ton that deters him from taking advantage of a smaller guy in this series.
No, but I
or
think
a guy like Vucevic who's slower footed, or Garza.
All the points you're making about them looking good versus the Thunder with like their top 5 guys out. Well, their top 5 guys will be playing. I think they are. That's why they are a regular season team. Because they can go 13 deep and then win a game and keep it competitive. And I think that's just more of a, that's showing how good JB Bickerstaff is as a coach and how good he is at giving these players motivation. But at the end of the day, Jenkins has never seen this kind of, offensive pressure before. A guy like Ron Holland's going to have to be in the lineup and actually hit shots if you're going to play the Boston Celtics, which he hasn't been able to do all year.
That's true, but they do have, like you just said, they're 13 deep. They have a lot of versatility of guys they can put in and put out. And while that may not be something they can do in terms of going 13 deep in a series, in an individual game, over the course of a series, you can see which guys are hitting shots and which aren't. And they have a wealth of options to go to in terms of players that are playable defensively in the playoffs, which is a big deal because a lot of guys in the NBA have a degree of offensive talent that would allow them to at least go off in a series and be, playable offensively, right? They have a lot of guys that are really good defensively, and that's often the biggest problem come playoff time. So
I wouldn't say that anyone can lock in offensively.
I think most guys in the NBA can have a series though where if it's not that they can lock in, but they have the talent to shoot, 40% from 3 in a series.
Ron Holland does not have the talent to do that.
Ron Holland might not have the talent.
Asar Thompson does not have the talent to do that. These are multiple dudes on the same team, let alone anyone in the NBA.
Okay, but they also, to be fair, these guys are also extremely good defensively and bring a lot of other things to the table. So
I feel like they could easily both get played off the court in this series. And
I don't see Asar Thompson getting played off the court.
Maybe not played off the court because that's just.
I think he's so valuable as a defender against Tatum or Brown that he's going to stay on the court.
Then maybe I say should be played off the court because he obviously won't be. But that's just, I mean, that kind of offensive liabilities, especially next to Duren, who I understand Duren is a decent passer for a center, and you can always hit Asar on the cut, and Duren's so close to the rim that it is kind of easier to hit that lob or cut. But this team just did it 2 years ago, and instead of the 5 games of Porzingis, they now have hopefully a fully healthy starting center. Their backup center is Nikola Vucevic. I mean, that's like the most talented backup center in the entire NBA. Offensively, as long as they don't run into any injuries, which I'd say that's the only argument. If both teams run into injuries, the Pistons are more suited. But the Celtics are still 10 deep. They still have so many guys who could just randomly show up on the court and then just get a bunch of stops, and they could also hit open threes. I mean, we'd have to agree to disagree, but like Tatum's outplaying Cade Cunningham. Like we haven't seen Cade Cunningham. Like this is blind faith you're giving Cade because we've never seen it.
they do different things on the court. You can say Jason Tatum's going to score more than Cade Cunningham, but I think Cade Cunningham will be more important to the offense than Jason Tatum.
Where he's going to hit the not good shooters.
Oh, yeah, 'cause
Wide open for
Kevin
three.
Huerter isn't a good shooter. Duncan Robinson.
We don't know
is
if
a good
Kevin
shooter.
Huerter's playing. Kevin Huerter was a DNP before all these injuries.
And now he's been
including
playing
Cade
good.
Cunningham.
Why would he not
Also,
play?
I want to say, you were saying, like, well, they've been keeping up the defense with Cade Cunningham out. It's not like Cade Cunningham's this elite defender where they're supposed to be missing a whole lot of defense.
It wasn't so much that they were keeping up the defense. It was the fact that their defense is so good that I was like, wow, they're keeping themselves in these games even when their offense looks this stagnant. So imagine what's going to happen when they have an actual creator back on the court.
I mean, and that's fair. I just don't even believe in like their sixth man. Like, are you going to take a Peyton Pritchard or are you going to take a Jenkins? Peyton Pritchard by far. But that's how important Jenkins has been to this team's winning.
Is Jenkins their sixth man consistently?
Well, I mean, sometimes he starts. But, like, yeah, he's always the guy. I mean, if you look at how many minutes, we look at the Pistons minutes. Because, like, obviously I prepared for a Celtics video, not a Pistons. But, like, the Celtics, you know what? Let's get right into it. Because we've kind of both gave our opinions. You have the Pistons winning. I have the Celtics.
Mhm.
So, what do you think about the Celtics? What is their ceiling and floor?
I think this Celtics team is really solid. I think they're very solid as relative to other Celtics teams of the past. But I do worry about their rim protection and their ability to stop a couple of these elite centers that are at the top end of the East. And so for that reason, I have them losing to the Knicks. I have them losing to the Pistons. And I think their ceiling is a Eastern Conference Finals exit.
Okay. I mean, I don't think I had any team where they could realistically play in the first round. So they're definitely not a first round exit to me. Yeah, they're floor to me, second round exit, because I can see them
Oh, yeah, I forgot
Playing-
to say that. Floor, second round exit. Yeah.
playing the Cavs, ceiling, I think winning the NBA Finals. This is a team where if they make the NBA Finals,
You have a lot of teams that could win the NBA Finals as their ceiling.
well, we talked about the Lakers and the Celtics. Yeah.
Lakers, Celtics. Do
I
you
don't
have
think I had the Spurs. I did
you
not
didn't
have the Spurs.
You
when
didn't
I
have the
was
Spurs? Oh, so I guess
I don't think so. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure I didn't. And then like the Knicks. I think I did say the Knicks. The problem is like you could say I'm doing it for every team, but every team we've talked about, not the Spurs, but like the Knicks, I'm now lower on the Knicks than I
Mhm.
was like a month ago because I've just been watching them play and they
That's
did
fair.
go on a huge win streak, but then these last couple games have really deferred me, and it's the whole idea of Brunson versus Cat. So maybe I kind of take back the Knicks thing. Luckily, too many people didn't really see it.
Yeah.
But like honestly, if there are two teams, okay, actually no, because I do think that you should have two different teams have a NBA final ceiling.
Mhm.
And in my opinion, that actually is the Knicks and Celtics because I don't see the Pistons making it. I
Really?
don't see I don't see the Cavs making it. I don't see any team like the Hawks or the Sixers or the Raptors, whatever.
Mhm.
So no, I don't regret anything. But yeah, Jenkins actually is okay. Jenkins is ninth. I think he's just been playing a lot because of the cake. But then, like, it's minutes per game is a little bit weird because he wasn't playing like much at all in the first like 20 games of the season.
But
Technically, Kevin Huerter has been playing more minutes, but I do think come playoff time, like Herter's just not going to play as much. Like I could be wrong about that. Also, Huerter has been playing more because Duncan Robinson's been missing some games, I
Mhm.
believe. So, I don't know. I do believe that this Pistons team is just too many specialists. I don't like the idea of specialists. They have a lot of just pure shooters or pure defenders, and I like the idea that of players that can't be played off the court.
Mhm.
And I feel like there is a bunch of different ways that a lot of these Pistons players can be played off the court. Versus I think Joe Mazzulla specifically picks out guys who can't do that outside of like a Jordan Walsh. Because like he can easily be played off the court, but like a Hugh Gonzalez can kind of do a little bit of everything. Derek White, a little bit of everything. I guess Pritchard you could say is a little bit of a specialist, but he's both like scoring and playmaking. So
Yeah.
you have multiple things to your game.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. So that is our preview of the Boston Celtics.
Mhm.
I think they're NBA Finals team. Cam thinks they will leave early. By the way, we both think there's no way they lose in the first round.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
So
Cool. All right. If you guys enjoyed the video, if you like it, that'd be great. If you want to subscribe, we're trying to hit 1,000 by the playoffs, and I think it is possible. So if you can help us out, that'd be amazing. And then comment, what do you think? Am I wrong about the Cavs beating them? Is Cam wrong about the Pistons beating them? I know it's gonna be a lot of Celtics fans watching this, so let us know. And yeah, peace out.